Overcoming fear with faith and reason. Silas stood at the edge of the whispering woods, where the trees grew tall and the shadows stretched long. He had to cross to get home, but his knees felt like jelly. The woods looked like a giant mouth waiting to swallow the sun. Silas squeezed his backpack straps and took a deep breath, but his feet stayed stuck to the clay-colored earth. "That's a very big sigh for such a small boy," a slow, gravelly voice said. Silas jumped as Barnaby, a wise tortoise, with a shell painted in colorful geometric patterns, crawled out from behind a mossy rock. Barnaby looked up with kind, crinkled eyes. "The woods look different when you're looking from the outside, don't they?" Barnaby tucked his head in and then popped it back out. "Fear is a funny thing, Silas. It tells us stories that aren't always true. To beat it, we need two tools: reason to see what is real, and faith to trust in what we cannot see yet. Would you like to use them with me?" Silas nodded and pointed to a jagged, swaying shape in the dark. "Look, a grumble gnasher with many arms." Barnaby didn't run. Instead, he pulled a small magnifying glass from his shell. "Let's use reason, Silas. What does that shape do? Does it growl, or does it just wave in the wind?" Silas stepped closer, squinting his eyes. He realized the arms were just crooked branches, and the gnashing teeth were actually clusters of dried leaves. "It's just an old oak tree," Silas whispered, feeling a little bit of the jelly in his knees turn back into bone. Reason had shown him the truth. Further in, the path vanished into a patch of thick, silvery mist. Silas stopped again. "I can't see where the ground goes," he worried. Barnaby handed him a small, glowing lantern. "This is where we use faith," Barnaby said. "Faith isn't seeing the whole map. It's trusting that the next step is there because the path hasn't failed us yet." Silas took the lantern and held Barnaby's sturdy shell. Together, they stepped into the white mist. Silas moved slowly, feeling the ground with his toes before planting his weight. One step, then another. He couldn't see the end of the forest, but he trusted Barnaby, and he trusted his own feet to find the way. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the trees. Silas frozen. His heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird. "Something is coming," he cried. He wanted to run back, but the mist had already closed behind them. He felt the fear trying to take over his mind again. "Use your tools, Silas," Barnaby urged. Silas took a breath. He used reason. The sound was a snap, not a roar. He used faith. "I am not alone, and I am brave enough to look." They turned the lantern toward the noise and saw a small, round frog sitting on a fallen log that had just settled into the mud. The trees began to thin, and soon the golden light of home appeared. Silas stepped out of the woods, feeling taller than when he had entered. He realized that being brave didn't mean he wasn't afraid. It meant he had the tools to move forward anyway. He thanked Barnaby, who smiled and slowly crawled back toward his mossy rock.